Hello there. Welcome to the first tactical patterns pattern recognition video. We've been doing some checkmate patterns, redoing some of the old pattern recognition videos. So the idea is to have a nice playlist where you can learn from. One playlist for checkmate patterns and one for tactical patterns, so on and so forth. So in the first video in the tactical patterns, we'll be doing, well, this is just an absolute banger. We're not starting with something easy, something basic. This is high level stuff. But I'm going to show you, anyway, this is very entertaining. Excellent chess, excellent stuff. So this position in front of us happened in the game Tigran Petrosian against Vladimir Shmagin. Petrossian was the 9th world champion. And I named this pattern after him because he executed this pattern in 2 of his games. Now in this position, let's just get down and dirty. Let's get into it. Queen takes d6 was what Shmagin played. And now Petrosian played queen a8 check. The key thing in the position is that you can't take the rook because there's going to be queen d1 check. If you interpose the bishop, I give you checks. And if you at some stage interpose the queen, I will go here. And all we can do is reload. It's going to be a perpetual. And stuff like this we'll cover later in some pattern recognition videos on perpetual patterns, which there are plenty of. But Petrosian avoided this. He played queen a8 check. Now, first thing to note is that king here, queen here, and there's big problems. And no more perpetual check, so the king has to go to g7. But here, Petrosian set up this fantastic tactical shot, which I will call Petrosian's move. He took on e5, bishop takes e5. Very forcing because it's a double attack. You lose the queen, or, well, yeah. So you take on e5. You lose the queen, or you do what you did here. Queen takes e5. But now we see the pattern that we're looking at, Petrosian's move. Attraction, he attracts the king to the square that we wanted to go to. King takes h8. You have to capture because otherwise I take your queen. And knight takes f7. So we set up the beautiful fork and we're going to win because we're going to be up a piece at the end of all of this. Now, as fate would have it, 10 years later, same pattern. Petrosian against Spassky. Spassky under attack on f7. He played rook a7 to defend it. Petrosian took with the bishop, check. Spassky took back. And now, of course, Petrosian played the Petrosian move. Queen to h8. And Spassky resigned. He has no choice but to take, and then we take with check, and we're up a piece, just like in the other example. We could add that the attraction could be done by a rook, but I like the pure Petrosian pattern is with a queen on h8. I like it, but we can also imagine other pieces, such as here, the rook coming to h8. So every time I see stuff like this, I think of Petrosian and this pattern. So here we would simply win the queen. Now, why are the patterns so important? Why am I showing you this? What's for you to gain? Well, I am putting my experience. I've looked at thousands upon thousands of chess games. I've absorbed so many patterns, and I've also worked hard to categorize them, so I've got so many lined up for you. And of course, you have to give me the likes, guys. You have to keep the likes going if you want to show me support and you want me to keep going with these. And the next game will show you why this is so important and why, I've canned down this knowledge for you, knowledge that I've gained in my playing experience and my chess analysis days. So this was a game I played against a very strong Russian Grandmaster, Konstantin Landa. game that I managed to draw. And okay, we start here a bit earlier because there were some nice tactics here. I didn't really gain anything, but I thought they were nice. I sacked the exchange, took an f6, threatening mate. So he had to give this one up. Then I came in here, regained the exchange. I'm threatening to take 2 exchanges, so he can only take 1 piece at a time. So plenty of tactics. But he is probably a bit better here. Then we had some moves here. Eventually we traded rooks. He played rook d8. There was a pin, of course, on the pawn. His queen was on e7, so he couldn't take this. I played knight back to g5, threatening the pawn. He gave a check. Now he had to defend the pawn, so he played queen e7. No, queen e5, sorry. And I played queen to d2. And after I played queen d2, I was like, please, 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 please. I was praying for him falling into it. So this was at the European Club Cup. We were down 2 minutes here, and obviously I was hoping that he would recognize that I can give a check here, which of course he did, and I would win this bishop. So I was hoping for a move like bishop e7 or bishop c6, and in both cases I would play queen to d8 jack, of course. If the bishop was on c6, maybe he would figure things out now and interpose. But it looks like there isn't much danger. I mean, everything is covered. We're covering this. We're covering this. Okay, the bishop is probably better on c6 because I could make a threat here. Although then he can take this. So it's very plausible to fall for this. And of course, my point is what? White to move. Petrosian's move. Now I found this I saw this idea almost immediately when it was my move. And it would never have been possible if I hadn't been looking at classical games, if I hadn't seen these tactics by Petrosian. Pattern recognition. I would win a pawn here, and most likely the game. I'm threatening to win another pawn. The knight will always get out. The worst case scenario, I can play f4 and bring the knight back after he takes en passant, or the knight is protected. And white should probably win the endgame. Unfortunately, he saw this, and the game went another route, and I had to defend a tough ending, but managed to do so. And here is, well, in this case, it's not going to be a queen, but one of my favorite examples. We'll go through the opening quickly. A queen's gambit declined, where white does this dance before playing the bishop, and then taking on c4. Castles finally, rook takes c3, and this is going to be a key piece, as we'll see. Very threatening position for white here after knight g5. Black decides to fortify with bishop g4, and we have this maneuver of the bishop over here. But white very cheekily placed the rook over here. And now he executed a fantastic combination. Pause it and find it if you want. Good exercise, but I will give you also an exercise after this, which you can try to solve and give me the solution in the comments. But the solution to this one is absolutely fantastic. Queen sacrifice, we love them. Queen takes g6. Now this pawn is pinned, so you can only take with the h-pawn. And now I set up the attraction just like with Petrosian's move. Bishop takes f7, only this one available, and rook h8. And you can find such combinations, many such combinations where we take on f7 and then give a check on h8 and then pick up something either here, here, or here, in this case on d6. Now white only won a pawn, but the ending should be winning. Sometimes in chess you play a great combination and all you get is you win a pawn. So it means you need to be a balanced player, you need to be able to win the endings as well. But okay, on to the last one. So if you want a really difficult puzzle, then pause the video and try to find the winning move for white here, the move that enables him to break through. That's not my puzzle though. let's say if you want something really difficult. I'm going to now give the next few moves and then the actual puzzle that I want you to tell me about in the comments. So in this game, white played fantastically. He played queen to c1. The knight is attacked, and if it doesn't take on d4, the queen will penetrate and it will win a pawn, because black's piece queen is very passive here. So knight takes d4 was played in the game, but then white played king d3, attacking the knight, simply threatening to take it, and it turns out the knight does not have any good square, so queen takes e5 seems to defend it. But now it's up to you to demonstrate that you've been paying attention, and I want you to tell me in the comments, what is white's next move? What is white's second move? And also, what happens at the end of the combination, which is very important, because white is currently down 2 pawns. So what happens at the end of the combination? Give me 1-2 moves, the whole line if you want, but what happens at the end of it? So that was Petrosian's move. Hope you enjoyed it, and keep the likes coming, and I'm gonna hit you with the bangers. Hope to see you in the next pattern video, whether it be a tactical or a checkmate pattern. See you then.